When you look at the buildings that exist in today's world, what do you really see? The concrete, the stone, or a reflection of yourself? As a contractor, designer, or builder, when you work in the construction industry, you know you're out there, creating something each and every day. Have you ever considered the influence your building is bringing to the people living there? Throughout the past several years, people have simply considered builders as carvers of stone, erectors of columns, or cutters of pieces of stained glass. But they are so much more than that. Buildings affect the way we live our lives. They inspire us and help us decide where to live, how to live, and in some respects, they reflect who we are as a society. We shape buildings from the beginning. Thereafter, they shape us. No one can deny that the impact of technology on architecture reflects every aspect of our lives. In this new digital era, we can rely on our past experiences while still starting to look at the world in a totally different way. We start to explore the way to better run a project, better use energy, better focus on design to create an interactive living environment, and better work with the creative path of prosperity for more people. If you want to explore what the future will be like, come and join us for our Summer Summit. Share your passion for construction and get insight into the digital world. Because a better world starts here, with you.
Good day. You're in Glodon's Live Summit 2020 Digital Building Intelligent Future. I'm the moderator today, Jess Liu from Glodon IBD. I'm very happy to see you all online here. First, I wanted to extend a special thank you to all of you in front of the screen, including our dear clients, industry pioneers, and scholars gathering here in this high-level communication platform. We have with us the panel of innovative experts and professors who've invested in some of the most advanced digital building research, and to answer questions and discuss about the trends of today's global industry, how we keep pace with it, and what you need to know. According to the report from Roland Berger 2020, over 90% of the industry players agree that digitalization will affect every aspect of their work, while only less than 5 of them make full use of the digital tools. Well, 100% of the firm believe that they have the digital potential to be released. So what exactly happened here? Now you might have more information about the global construction industry. So today, we bring 5 topics to you. The first topic is the practical way to digital construction from Dr. Robert Yuan, the president of Glodon Company Limited, followed by the observation into the Asia construction industry, brought by Dr. Calvin Kam, the founder and CEO of SBI.bimScore. Next is the establishment, operation, and maintenance of Malaysia National BIM Center, shared by Mr. Bing from CIDB E-Construct Service, followed by the cultivation digitalization talent for the next normal in construction industry from Dr. Dunn, the professor of the University of Hong Kong. The last one is the case sharing from Indonesia, which is the research of Mr. Novias, the operational director of PT Hutamakaya.
Hello everyone, I'm Robert Yuan, President of Glodon. Today I talk about the practical way to digital construction enterprise. Let me share my screen. So digital transformation is a very hot topic in recent years, especially in the last few months. When people can't travel as frequently as before, can't meet face to face as usual, we find that digital communication and management are already ready to help us. As an AEC software company, Glodon employees use the digital technologies to work online, and we have 85% of R&D productivity with online as before with offline. We also use our software and services to help our customers, but we found it's not easy since the construction company are not well prepared for the digital transformation. Recently, Deloitte made a survey about the digital maturity of 18 industries. Unfortunately, construction and the real estate industry is at the bottom, so the digital maturity score is 4.5. So there are two parts. The first part is about digital technologies enable employees to work better with customers, partners, and employees. We can say, so the customer part is very low, but it's okay for partners and employees. We know even for construction company, we can use video or audio meeting. But for select digital qualities, for clear strategy to transformation are very low. And also leadership have skills is very low. But someone might have a question. We are talking about digital transformation. Why does strategy play so important role? So that's a good question. Let's take a look at the other part of the survey. So this survey about the top barriers by maturity stage. So we can classify the companies as three types: the early, developing, and maturing. So for early stage, the top three barriers are lack of strategy, too many priorities, and lack of management understanding. For developing stage, the top three are too many priorities, lack of strategy, and insufficient tech skills. But for maturing, strategy is not the issue. So we can say lack of strategy is very important. And for early and developing mature companies, lack of strategy is the key issues. So as a question about our organization has a clear and coherent digital strategy, and the respondents who answered strongly agree. For early stage company, only 15%. For developing stage, 49%, but for maturing, 81%. So we can say strategy is very important. So it's very natural actually when we talk about digital transformation, it's not only about technology. It's about the system. We need to change the company's culture, the company's regulation and policies, and the people's behaviors. So it's not only select some software or train people to use some software. It's about the people's habit, people's mindset. So that's why we are talking about digital transformation, not digital technology. So when we talk about strategy, that means that top executives should play a very important role. Also, some people call the leadership in digital transformation as a digital leadership. So the leaders should have the passion to make life better or work better, want to change something for the company. And they need to shape the company's vision and also his own vision, and also express his vision very clear to people. And connecting ideas and people during the transformation, definitely there are some difficulties. So the leaders should have an audacious attitude, even they meet bigger difficulties. They still insist on finish it or work on it. Also, the leaders need to make sense of change. That means it's a change management, not only one step or two steps or for a few days. It takes a long time and also take a clear strategy to make it happen. And also need to act with the speed and agility, because digital technology is change. In the last few years, we know BIM, IoT, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, VR, and so on. So digital technologies is changing rapidly. Also, the customer is changing, because for the real estate, for property developers, they are meeting different difficulties as before. Also, our employees are changing, so we need to rapidly change based on customer requirements, based on people's requirements. But even with this change, even with some unclear, uncertainty, we need persistently to make it happen. So that's for the digital leadership. So as for leadership, there are many books and lessons talk about it. So I don't want to take more time to discuss about this. Another topic is a strategy. So for a company, how could we figure out the company's strategy for digital transformation? Actually, from 2015, Glodon is thinking about this, because there are so many new technologies. And for BIM, and we try to help our customers to adopt BIM. And our customers form some special team and hire some BIM talents and have a BIM plan. But when we have a smart technology like there's IoT or artificial intelligence, and we also have more like VR, AR, could we have every task force for every new technology? Definitely we can't. But if we go inside of this technology, what's the purpose of this technology for construction industry? We think the purpose of adopting this digital technology is to help us to make our project management easy and better. So we think it's important to combine this digital technology together and also combine this digital technologies with the project management methods together. So usually we have separated phases such as design, pre-construction, construction, and maintenance. For each company, they focus on one function, one phase or two. But with the technologies, digital technologies, it helps us to easily connect the all phases together. Such as for digital design, we can use digital technology to make 3D design. 3D design not only about geometry or shape, it also includes a lot of information. That means we can simulate the performance, the usage of the room. So we can simulate the air temperature, the air quality when we are designing it. So for digital pre-construction, we can compare different construction plans and we select the best. For digital construction, we can track every people, every material, and every machine. So we have very clear understanding of the progress, risk, and the quality. We can make a best decision based on this information. For digital maintenance, it's the same. We can optimize the performance of buildings based on the data. So for digital technologies, it can make the copy of a physical building in computer. So this kind of technology is called digital twin. Actually, digital twin is not a new technology. It has been existed about 10 years. It already used in manufacturing industry. So it's also feasible to make the digital twin for each building. So for digital technology, for digital twin technology, that means we can consider the whole process, not the separated phases. So we can optimize our design for construction, for maintenance. And also we can connect all stakeholders together at the beginning. So the design can make general contractors work easy. So that's the benefits of a digital building. We know the key part of digital building is BIM, Building Information Modeling. BIM has been used for about 20 years, but there are still problems of BIM. Why we cannot largely use BIM in these industries? There are some problems, the issues. The first issue is that the design BIM models cannot be used for construction. So currently, the design firms create the BIM model and use a BIM model to produce 2D drawings. And this BIM model cannot be used for construction. And for construction companies, they can get the 2D drawings, and based on 2D drawing, they create the 3D models. So that's a problem. Cannot make the BIM easily transfer models from design to construction. There are some technology issue, also some policy issue. But we think that first, the technology issue can be solved by a dual system. The system can integrate design and construction. So I talk about it later. The second part is the project management and enterprise management are separated. When the top executives want to get the information about projects, project managers will take a lot of time to collect the data and write the report. So usually, the CEO of a company get the weekly report or monthly report. They cannot get the real-time report. So also it's take a lot of time for project managers to prepare the report. And the CEO cannot make a good decision based on the limited and inaccurate information. So it's very important if we can integrate project management and enterprise management to one system. The third issue about process with data. Before, software only focus on process, and the software don't deal with the data. But now we have a lot of data, and if we integrate the software and the data together, and we can leverage this new technology. So the solution is integration software and the data to one platform. So for integration of design and construction, we developed a new software BIMMake. It can import multiple design modules into BIMMake, such as Revit, TAS, SketchUp, or AutoCAD models. In BIMMake, we can add more construction components and the model for construction stages such as set layout, formwork, rebar, and any other detailed design can be made in BIMMake. That means in BIMMake, we can make very detailed construction models based on design model. And we also can export this complete construction model to other construction applications, such as BIMVR, 3ds Max, Revit, AutoCAD, or BIM 5D. So BIMMake play a very important key role to connect design and construction software. So how could BIMMake play this role? So we can take a look at the architecture of BIMMake. So for the platform level, BIMMake has a BIM data standards, graphics platform, and a BIM core modeling platform. For components, and have some very key components such as file import, file export, modeling for structured architecture, for model visualization, set modeling, and so on. So based on this platform and the components, BIMMake have the solution for integrated steelwork solution, visualization and simulation of beam construction methods can take off during construction. So if we have just complete construction models, that means we can get very accurate quantities of the building of each floor. So based on the quantities, we can make a reasonable plan and for material, for people, and for machine. So the second important thing is integration of project management and enterprise management to one system. So for site management, we know there are some key elements, such as labor management, machinery, material management, methodology, and the environment management. So if we have digital technologies can dynamically get the information of labor, machine, material, methodology, and the environment. That means we can make a project management system easily and quickly get the risk information, quality information, progress information. And if we have all of this information in real time, and we also can transfer this information to the company level for the whole company, and we can have some library, program library, and plan library. Now we can use a mobile phone, Internet of Things, and other digital technology to easily track everything. So just, for example, just for task, and for each employee, they can get the list of tasks by phone. So it's very clear which tasks for today, and when the employee starts the task, and they can track progress, and also take a picture, take a voice, and the videos with their phone, and read some text, and report this progress by phone. And for each people, they have this, they report progress by phone. Also for each machinery and each material, we have IoT to connect the information. So for site team, and we can have a database, and we can use this data to do capability improvement, work management. And for the whole project management team, and we can based on the information to do risk identification and analysis, and resource organization and calibration. And also we can do plan optimization. And for enterprise decision making team, and we can allocate resources within projects, and we can do cost analysis and risk identification for the company. So it's easy to have a real-time data sharing. And based on our customers' use cases, the workload can be reduced by 30%, and the communication efficiency can be increased by 30%. The resource utilizing efficiency can be increased by 20%. And the resource utilization efficiency can be increased by 1 to 3 times. Communication cost can be reduced by 20 to 50%. And especially for project risk can be reduced by 40 to 60%. Capital cost can be reduced by 1 to 2%. And this benefits is just at the beginning. We believe as we use it widening and deepening, we can get more benefits. And for management, it becomes easy. And for project management, now we can have resource coordination center and data decision center. And for company level, we can have a data decision center of enterprise. Because we have all data for all projects, so we can have a AI data center and help people to make better decisions. And for company, we can accumulate data into library. We can have a productivity index library, cost index library, accent program library, and the subcontract credit library. So that means we can digitization of everything, every factor of a construction site. The third part is about integration software and data to one platform. How could we make it? Actually, we already have developed this platform in combine of software and data. And we can take a look at the medium part. The technology media platform, business media platform, data media platform, and AI platform. And there are many key technologies, and we can mix this technology together. And also we can mix project management and enterprise management together. And for data platform, and we can store modeling data and analyze data. And all of this platform based on some IaaS, infrastructure as a services. Actually, we can select any IaaS provider such as Alibaba, Amazon. We also can use our own service or cloud platform. So for this new technologies, new platform, new methodologies, we already have used for many projects. So this is one sample project. The total construction area of this sample project is 150,000 square meters, 216 meters high. And we have every safety and quality issue in the data, in the system, so we can track the change of the data. And this program has used our software for reporting, recording, and tracing the corrective action of construction quality and safety problems. The project manager told us this software doubles the efficiency of quality and safety management in this project compared to others. So the safety issue have 1,163, quality issue is 289. And this project involves 11 subcontractors and 47 users. So far, 91% of issues closed, and the 80% of issues ignored, solved. And besides this sample project, our system already have been used for many other projects, such as our own Glodon office building, and for Guangzhou East Tower, that's the highest building in Guangzhou, and the Tianjin 117 Tower, and local hospital. And this system already has been used for more than 20,000 projects, includes house, high building, airport, and others. So for digital transformation, it's not easy, but it's feasible. If we think it's a system transformation, we need to have a digital leadership. We need to figure out the strategy and use digital building strategy to make all and to do the transformation for our company. And we focus on 3 parts: integrate design and construction to one system, integrate project management and enterprise management to one system, and integrate software and data to one platform. So based on this leadership strategy and key methods, we think digital transformation is achievable. Glodon is focused on AEC industry, providing software and services for customers. We hope our own digital transformation solution can help more companies, more people. And we also hope your company can make good progress for digital transformation. Thank you very much.
History shapes architecture. Architecture reflects history. We haven't witnessed its past, but we are starting to see its future. With intelligent architectural ideas, we are changing traditional concepts and redefining the relationship between human beings and buildings, creating intelligent cities. Glodon is the information technology platform provider with IT solutions covering the full life cycle of construction projects, making construction and operation efficient and intelligent. Through years of development, Glodon has established 8 business units: education and training, engineering design, cost estimating, engineering information, e-government, engineering construction, enterprise management, and Glodon Cloud. Today, we are depicting a predictable future with intelligence. Glodon always knows that our core value is to provide customers with efficient and convenient products and cloud services. Let's witness the next success together. Smart building, intelligent city. Glodon, just for your blueprint.
Hello, it's my pleasure to be joining this digital construction summit hosted by Glodon. It's certainly a very unique experience for me to be joining this event over the webcast. I still remember that I have the honor and the opportunity to have known Glodon for over 10 years now, and have indeed also joined many of the Glodon in-person, face-to-face summits. I remember being with Glodon from Beijing to Chongqing, from Xi'an to many other parts of China and also outside of China. Even though because of the COVID-19, because of the travel difficulty, we are doing this event online, but I still hope that our quality and the ability to motivate one another on construction innovation will still be as strong or even stronger than before. So my name is Calvin Cam. I'm serving as an adjunct professor with Stanford University, the Center for Integrated Facility Engineering. I'm also the founder and the CEO of Strategic Building Innovation. Today, I would like to share with us, from the perspective of construction innovation, take a look at what are the trends and the business cases and the use cases around the world, insights that we can draw, and then focus on what are some insights for the Asian construction industry. I hope that in the next 30 minutes or so, we can have a good exchange and also look forward to the many collaboration to come. So first of all, you notice that there are two surveys on the upper right-hand side. If you may be coming from China or more comfortable in Chinese, you can use the Tencent survey, or if you may be coming from other parts of the world and are familiar with English, you can use the SurveyMonkey link. So there are two QR codes on the upper right-hand side of the link. We'll be doing some survey and also survey results as we go on. So first of all, a brief introduction of myself and my team. I've been a champion of building information modeling, of digital construction, and industrialized construction for over 20 years now. Back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, we've been doing various kinds of pilot cases for different countries, from Finland to US and beyond. Starting in 2003 or so, my team and I have been looking at how to scale and how to grow innovation beyond one specific pilot, beyond one successful experiences. And over time, we also find out that it is important that we do not look just within our firm, within our company, within one project team, that we need, like the opportunity Glodon has given us today, that we need to globalize. We need to learn from one another. And more importantly, how do we not only treat innovation as a passion, as a hobby, as something that we are committed in doing only, but how do we also bring some business and management science? How do we make informed decision into the management of digital construction? And you can see that throughout the years, my team and I have had the honor and the experiences of working in over 20 countries for a number of government agencies, leading enterprises, projects, and in some cases on a nonprofit and educational basis. One such example is our experiences working with APEC, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. And over the years, you can see that even within APEC, we started in 2013 around the concepts of BIM, Building Information Modeling, and then we go on to talk about green. And in more recent years, it's about smart city. So similarly, we do see that the idea of going digital, it's a process. We cannot just go in for one adoption pilot and be able to claim success. It is very important for us to be persistent, to look at how we can build up the foundation, have a sustainable process, have a good organization to continue to grow. There are lots of buzzwords happening around us: IoT, Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, what may be about big data, 3D printing, and also nowadays with COVID-19, with climate change, we are also more and more interested in resiliency, in security, in working for the aging population, and how do we promote wellness, especially during COVID-19. ultimately, how can we become smarter as a professional, as a company, as a country, as a city? How can we go smarter? And so first of all, let me share with you some of our observations coming from the US, coming from Europe, coming from a lot of Euro and Americas. First of all, we have seen that there were a lot of successful pilots. Even almost 20 years ago, the California Academy of Science building in San Francisco was leveraging different forms of 3D, of building information modeling, of virtual design and construction, of 4D, and to a certain degree 5D, in terms of creating a project that would not have been possible without this technology. And more importantly, the project turned out to be very, very successful in terms of being on time, in terms of really creating the vision that Renzo Piano, the architect, has generated. Fast forward over 10, 15 years later, we have seen that similar vision, in this case by Apple, by Steve Jobs, by Norman Foster and partners, are also able to realize in the headquarters of the Apple headquarter campus in Cupertino, also in California, that all the best of the technology, from industrialized construction, from prefabrication, from pre-finished materials, are all able to come into good place. And at the same time, the attention to detail, it's very, very much an encouraging trend that we all can learn. Yet at the same time, all those are very good single pilot, single successful projects. What we have then seen is that these are very often important to transform a company, to then transform the organizations, transform a city, a country, and really the construction industry at large. Speaking about kind of like transforming companies, we have seen that jumping from US to Scandinavia to European Union, that for many years, we know the company IKEA when it comes to furniture, when it comes to really creating amazing furniture that is going to the masses. We also know construction companies like Skanska. Yet the marriage between IKEA and Skanska actually coming together to form this company called Boklok. Forgive my Swedish, but Boklok was founded back in 1997, and by now have delivered over 10,000 apartments throughout Sweden. And beyond that, they have also grown to other parts of European Union, from UK to Norway and Finland. What makes Boklok special? It's its commitment on industrialized construction. As many of us know, the climate in Sweden, it's cold and snowy for many parts of the year. And the ability for Boklok to have a factory environment to do a lot of the fabricated, pre-finished, industrialized construction, they are able to deliver 1,200 homes just in the year of 2018, and able to really maintain the profitability, the quality, and the efficiency and the effectiveness of what industrialized construction can give us. So what we can see is that it's really about the idea of bringing digital technology, changing a project, but also how we can formalize it. Even new kind of joint ventures like IKEA and Skanska, it's now being made possible just by looking into how to bring digital transformation from project to company, from a particular mission into changing new business ways of doing things, and how that may also change the supply chain, such as in this case. A little bit more emerging now, coming back to Boston, coming back to the US, we have seen that Boston Dynamics, it's really able to bring artificial intelligence, robotics, and starting to pilot how this can be applied in our very complicated construction job sites. You can see that a robotic dog, in this case, it's able to perform basic kind of navigation. They have a camera. And more recently, We even see that Faro and Boston Dynamics are able to partner together to put on laser scanner. Traditionally, you need a lot of labor, a lot of skilled professionals to set up a laser scanner, to set up the LiDAR approach in order to perform that. But now you can see that automation and robotics, we are able to start to bring some of this into the construction with a different kind of fusion, right? Just like IKEA and Skanska, we are now able to see Faro, a very traditional, a very strong laser tracking and laser measurement, laser scanning company, being able to bring metrology in what Faro does with Boston Dynamics, which is about kind of like what the future can bring in terms of a smarter, a more digital job sites. So far, for the last 10 minutes or so, I tend to focus on a lot of the leading examples of what some of the best examples are doing in the world in terms of construction, in terms of one-off projects, in terms of amazing new venture and some very promising new technologies. But just like running a marathon, we should not only focus on the front runner. We, the digital construction industry, should also focus on maybe the mediocre. Like myself, if I were to run a marathon, I may even not be running in the middle. I may be falling very back from behind. Or as we know, sometimes running a marathon, not everybody can make it. They may get tired, they may get accidents, they may not have the full training or the full condition to do that. The same is true for digital construction. We should also look into how other projects, how other companies, which are not the leading pets, can also be ready to tune up ourselves to have the condition to be fit and well for a long marathon. And what may be the pitfall if we are not careful enough? So to give you one example of how we need to look beyond just the front runner is that we need to focus on metrics. We need to focus on how do we measure our body? How do we measure our speed? Just like how do we measure digital construction? So one example, this is Mortensen. They started their digital journey back in 2001 or so with the Disney Concert Hall. It's certainly another project that could not have been built without digital construction. And they continue to move on to say about 15 years later, up in Minnesota, they are able to leverage technologies like 4D, 5D, virtual design, virtual construction in a very successful construction and delivery of the US Bank Stadium. Yet, what is really important is that these are one-off projects. But Mortensen, back in 2014, was able to measure that not only those special projects, but across the portfolio, how could they measure the effectiveness of digital construction? In this case, we saw that they were able to report 32 days reduction of construction schedule, 25% of productivity increase, 2.95% of construction cost reduction. These are what we mean by being able to measure ourselves so that we can make sure that we are not just trying to dash, but able to sustain a marathon. So earlier today in the slide, in the first slide, I showed you a survey monkey and also a 腾讯问卷 the survey. So here, I would also like to once again invite you to join our survey because we not only want to see how other companies and other countries are measuring up, we also want to see how you, attendees and audience of this digital summit, may be able to share your perspectives. Okay, thank you. And then in the following, I'm going to show you some of the ongoing results based on what we have seen, in some cases from your participation, and in some cases, we were also able to get responses from Canada, China, European countries, European Union, South Korea, Southeast Asian countries, and as well as the United States. What we asked, as some of you may have just seen from our survey, is that we asked about whether you may be skeptical or whether you have the confidence to embrace this kind of new technologies. And what we have seen and what you see now is the global response. In addition to the summit from Glodon Summit here, we are also bringing in the results from those other countries that I mentioned. We've seen that there are some skepticism, in particular robotics, in particular industrialized construction. There's some reservation about digital twins and the like. But on the other hand, if you look into the right-hand side, there are far more respondents like yourself who are confident with this kind of technologies. We may worry that are we confident in new materials beyond concrete? And as it turns out, that we have seen quite a lot of you being either highly confident or somewhat confident in new technology. But one particular one, as we just saw, was the confidence in virtual design and construction. So what my team has done is to try to understand the profile of many of you who fill in the survey. In particular, we had also conducted a survey with some late adopters to technology. They may just be new to the concepts of BIM and VDC versus those who are innovators, who are leaders, who are some of the global authorities and the firms have been really focusing on BIM and digital construction for years, if not decades. And so we apply this crossing the chasm framework in terms of innovation to further dissect the feedback and the survey results that we just saw. So what we find is that among the late adopters, they actually were more skeptical with different technologies. And by far, they are more interested in digital twins and in virtual design and construction. But if we, on the other hand, focus on the innovators, those who are working in firms and companies who have been proven to be innovators of the industry, you can see that, wow, pretty much across the board, they are mostly confident. They are mostly highly confident and just have a little bit of hesitation about some of the forms of robotics, exoskeleton, Internet of Things, and virtual reality. So it's remarkable to see some of those. And then confidence is an expression of our feeling or our fear or our ambition. Now, what we also want us to focus on is that beyond the confidence or the skepticism, are we seeing good return on our investment? If you focus on the dark green bars on this slide, that's the benefit, that's the return we get. If you look into the lower bottom bar, the light green, that's the investment. How much investment of human resource, of hardware, of training, of different kind of infrastructure that we need to make in order to get the benefits. And you can actually see that even though building information modeling, virtual design and construction have been with us for some time, interestingly, the return on investment is still negative. We're still seeing that if you look at the bottom part of the chart, that almost everybody in the innovation circle are 100% invested in VDC and BIM technologies and methodology, but then only 97% of them benefited from it. On the other hand, it is interesting that new materials, computer optimization, industrialized construction, even though they are not being invested by 100% of the respondents, but then those, the 50%, the 60% of those who invested in it were able to see good return on investment. So if we have set up kind of like the global stage, we talk a little bit about Scandinavia, US, and also some of the global benchmark we've seen. Now, let us come back to insights into Asia construction industry. My team and I, as mentioned earlier, have also been active in a number of Asian countries, Vietnam, Singapore, China, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, among others. And we also have many partners and observations in other parts of Southeast Asia, from Thailand to Malaysia to Indonesia and beyond. One particular example is Singapore. Since 2011, I have been serving as a good friend of Singapore Building Construction Authority for multiple years, multiple rounds. I have served as one of their industry experts, international experts, when it comes to BIM, productivity, and the like. So my team and I actually have also been very active in recommending some strategy and also promoting some education activities for the Singapore government. So in a nutshell, this is quoting what BCA had outlined back in 2017. They saw that back in 2010, exactly 10 years ago, it was about BIM. It was about going from analog to digital, going from two-dimensional to the third dimension with information. By about 2015 or so, and through very close partnership between my team and BCA, we were able to really launch and produce what was a virtual design and construction and its roadmap and its VDC guide for the Singapore industry. By VDC, at Stanford University, we refer to the integration of technologies such as BIM with a lean mindset like production planning through the integration of good decision-making process, integration of the big room and good collaboration technique that will generate positive impacts, positive metrics, positive business and project goals. That's the definition of VDC. And we also were very fortunate to be working closely with Singapore over the years to bring VDC to hundreds of professionals in Singapore. And beyond that, by 2017 or so, Singapore is thinking about integration, delivery, and digitalization. So that's the integrated digital delivery. And that is really starting to think about the delivery beyond just typical design and construction into the full life cycle. Think about how technology becomes a platform. No longer are we just dealing with one-off technology, closed technology, but how do we start to do it in a much broader scale? So here's some of such examples. Over the years, we were able to invite and Singapore government leaders, professionals to Stanford University, working with us to understand how we can bring some of the prefabrication mindset, how we can learn from say, manufacturing, lean planning, production planning, and be able to really bring them back into a good virtual design and construction. We also, in return, work with all these professionals, launch classes and classes of executive training, launch classes and classes of leadership and professional certification, and also spend time in Singapore, working with specific project teams, understanding what are the metrics, as I mentioned a few minutes ago. You can see that they are able to report back on 70% approval schedule improvements and able to save time. Whatever may take 8 weeks can now be cut in half. Wastage can now be reduced to 0.09% and able to also focus on modeling time, accuracy improvement, and beyond. And what we are now able to see is that how this all are coming together through the IDD framework. Another key concept we know in Singapore, it's about design for manufacturing and assembly. It's about pre-finished, prefabricated volumetric construction. And some good examples, like in the Changi Airport, Crown Plaza Hotel, it's through the use of PPVC, Singapore is able to see 45% reduction of on-site manpower, 17% reduction of construction time, 40% of overall manpower reduction. So that's exactly kind of like the momentum we see, that having the government leadership and how through education, how through kind of like growing, you can really turn out to be something that is sustainable, like running a good long marathon. In a nearby city, Hong Kong, we have also seen that Hong Kong was getting local government's policy address from the chief executive. Whether you're talking about some of the top policy address back in 2017 or the top budget allocation back in 2018, the commitment in BIM was there. And that played a tremendous role in making sure that BIM was not only a hobby, was not only an elective, but just like what we see from years and years of local BIM awards, we have seen that the application of BIM can really flourish, whether we are talking about infrastructure projects, public housing projects, and anything else in between. And over the years, we have also been helping the Hong Kong Local BIM Awards to benchmark how Hong Kong is doing relative to Asia Pacific, relative to other parts of China, relative to the global construction world. And you can see that we can call that Hong Kong in general, it's in about a middle range of typical practice and advanced practice. There is certainly a lot that Hong Kong can learn from what is truly innovative. And by doing that, we also want to highlight that sometimes just talking about the award, it's like going to the Oscar. We talk about some of the awards, we can show you some of the best director cut film, but we often may be forgetting about the chaos, the reality of what is happening behind the scene. So what is important is to go deeper into what actually happened behind the scene. So coming back to Hong Kong, my team and I was able to work with the Hong Kong Construction Industry Council. For about a year, we were able to go deeper to not only look at the award winners, yes, they are doing amazing things, but what about hundreds and hundreds of other companies? In this study, we were able to get 734 responses coming from government departments, design teams, owners, operators, developers, main contractors, subcontractors, and anybody in between. Similar to the global survey we mentioned a few minutes ago, we were trying to understand what may be the distribution of leaders, adopters, and laggards in Hong Kong. And what may be the motivation? If you look into the dark green, those are the leaders. You can see that many of them are doing BIM, doing digital construction, doing modular integrated construction, because clients was asking for that, because government policy was asking for that. But we see that even more adopters and laggards were doing that only because the client were asking for it. So by orange, you can see that those are the BIM laggards, and they are mostly doing BIM, 65, 62%, because the client was looking for it. On the reverse, if the client was not asking for it, 59% said that, nope, that's no reason why we need to do it anymore. So I think that's the mindset we want to change, in that it's not only about when there is a client, when there's a project requiring us to do, but we need to understand there should be a lot of other motivation, a lot of return on investment. So that's why when our team were working very closely with the Construction Industry Council of Hong Kong, we were able to identify 3 major hurdles that we believe are not only for Hong Kong, potentially for Asia Pacific countries, potentially for the rest of the world. In that, very often our mindset, first and foremost, our mindset may be more focusing on compliance. Yes, I need to do what the client is asking me to do, what the government requirements ask me to do. But we need to change the mindset to make it much more based on value-driven mindset. Secondly, digital construction, building information modeling should not be about doing something extra. It's not about double handling. We should be looking at how innovation allow us a new workflow that can be simpler, that can be faster than before. Last but not least, we cannot use old knowledge to embrace new technology. We need to develop new expertise, have alignment, and make it work. So now, thank you for many of you for conducting and responding to our survey. We are able to draw some early conclusion based on those who have responded to our survey from Southeast Asia. So from Southeast Asia countries, if we just to take your responses, we saw that the skepticism and the confidence was a little bit inclined on the confidence side. But you can see that compared to earlier with the global survey, there were a lot more people on the confidence side than there was skepticism. In particular, we saw that areas where you from Southeast Asia were more confident included digital twins, Internet of Things, smartness, included computer optimization, included building information modeling, virtual design and construction. And thank you to the other group of you who joined our Tengxin Wenchuan, the survey, and able to let us know that on the other hand, from China, the confidence was a lot higher than our Southeast Asia friends. And in particular, those of you reporting from China were very confident about new materials, digital twins, building information modeling, and virtual design and construction. We also see that the return on investment that we talked about a few minutes ago from Southeast Asia, new materials, computer optimization, industrial construction, actually give you higher benefits, more return than the investment. Very good, kudos to it. On the other hand, similar to our global survey, virtual design and construction, even though Southeast Asia, 100% of you are saying that you are doing it, but then the return on investment was not high. It could be even higher. From China, we have seen that the positive return on investment comes in industrialized construction, 工业化建筑, computer optimization, augmented and virtual reality. Very good. So in closing, I would like to say that it's certainly a great reflection for me. I have come to know Glodon for over 10 years. I still remember that when I first met Chairman Diao and the Glodon team, it was even before 2009, 2008, times like that. When Glodon, as you can see, the growth of your revenue has gone from 400 million to now 3.5 billion RMB. And more importantly, even though your business has been successful, the adoption of Glodon software has been good, I am even more excited to see that the commitment by Glodon, from Mr. Diao to the whole Glodon team, Dr. Yuan and the Glodon team, to be able to focus on, I still remember visiting 广联达一期在北京的总部大楼 from year 2009 or so. Brand new building, but at the same time, Mr. Diao was already working with the team and asking for my participation to think about Glodon Phase 2. Eventually, that has an even better use of virtual design and construction, building information modeling, and different types of smart construction technology, bringing those technology to own Glodon's second phase of the Beijing, the headquarter. And for the last 2 years or so, I'm also even more impressed to see Glodon's commitment in continuing to bring the best of digital construction, the best of virtual design and construction, lean construction, smart construction job sites into one of your new regional headquarters in Xi'an. My team and I continue to be very, very happy about this. And thank you once again for allowing me in this special time to be able to join Glodon and this audience. I look forward to many, many more decades to come. And thank you once again for your time.
Hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone tuning in to this presentation. Greetings from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. My name is Rofizlan Umar, and I am the head of the Program Management Unit at the CIDB Malaysia National BIM Center, or My BIM Center. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for joining me in this session, and to Glodon Company Limited for allowing us to talk about My BIM Center and the task we undertake to promote the adoption of BIM in Malaysian construction industry. In this presentation, I will be sharing with you our motivation and our experience in setting up and running the one-stop center of BIM in Malaysia under the purview of the Ministry of Works and CIDB Malaysia. In 2013, CIDB Malaysia started to look into ways to mitigate long-standing issues that have been plaguing the construction industry for a long time. There were too many delayed projects, critical projects, public projects such as hospitals due to delayed building approval, problems with RFIs and rectifications or rework that needed to be done due to unclear design intent. All of these issues were causing cost overruns and wastages. Compounding the situation was the lack of accurate information being passed over for operations and maintenance. A solution had to be found, and technology is one of the approach that we saw fit for the purpose. A National BIM Steering Committee was established in 2015 to look into the potentials of BIM and how the introduction and adoption of BIM can be best carried out. In 2015, a study was carried out and it was published in 2016 to gauge the state of readiness of the nation's construction industry for the adoption of technology, particularly BIM. The findings would help us strategize the best sustainable approach to promote the implementation of BIM. The report indicated that the adoption rate was very, very low, where only 17% out of the 570 respondents interviewed used BIM, and the report was not very encouraging. Now, based on the findings of the reports, as you can see, the low rate of adoption was mainly due to these 5 main factors, and they are mostly due to high cost of technology. Back then, capable computers were expensive, BIM software were expensive, BIM training were expensive and rare, and the idea of such a big investment in favor of the tried and true conventional method was not very popular. It is ironic how the proposed solution was actually hindering BIM adoption in Malaysia. We immediately understood that we needed to play a bigger role and help facilitate the industry if we ever wanted to change. The government of Malaysia, through CIDB, in response to the situation, has included a few initiatives to promote the adoption of BIM in its construction industry, transformation program, or CIDB 2016-2020. And under the transformation program, 4 strategic thrusts were underlined, namely quality, safety, and professionalism, environmental sustainability, productivity, and internationalization, and competitiveness. BIM was assigned under the productivity thrust in the hope that BIM can contribute to a higher productivity in construction, and under this thrust, a one-stop center was established to provide facilitation and training programs for the members of the industry. The initial investment for the development of the center in 2016 was about 5 million ringgit, and to date we have spent more than 10 million ringgit to continuously enhance its facility and services. To properly drive BIM adoption and implementation campaign in Malaysia, My BIM Center had to take into account all the critical aspects such as standards, policies, promotions, research and development, resources, and most importantly, capacity building. Much of our effort initially revolves around designing and establishing BIM training modules and the infrastructures required. We believe that BIM can only be fully and effectively implemented as soon as in the next 5 years' time, when the younger and more tech-savvy generation enters the industry. We are currently working with local universities, technical and vocational institutions all over Malaysia, focusing on BIM knowledge and skills development. My BIM Center is also currently working with the government to offer reskilling programs to help those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Altogether, there are 12 training modules being offered at the moment, covering from the fundamental of modeling, BIM coordination, BIM facility management, and the BIM manager course, with more in the pipeline. To expedite the adoption even faster, the government also mandated all of the public projects above 100 Malaysian ringgit to use BIM, and major local councils are expected to implement BIM by the year 2021 to potentially reduce the time of building permit approval process. This BIM model checker was developed by MyBIM's own in-house developers and covers approval for various purpose groups such as residential, commercial, and institutions. This top-down strategy is vital in getting the buy-in of the idea by decision makers and project owners. What you are seeing on your screen at the moment is the National BIM Library, Malaysia's very own BIM component library. And currently there are about 10,000 components, 10,000 components ready to be downloaded by designers and modelers for free, comprising of many different categories ranging from furniture to hospital equipment. Through My BIM Center, CIDB Malaysia positions itself as an enabler to local industry players to easily access new construction-related technology and forward-looking platforms. Our strategy has always been to cooperate with local stakeholders through multiple initiatives initiated since 2015. One of it being the inception of the National BIM Component Library, or My BIM Library, to help expedite BIM model development by designers, architects, and engineers. And we are getting a lot of interest by manufacturers and component vendors to have their product uploaded into the library. We are definitely happy to see that BIM awareness has reached other verticals that are complementing the construction industry. Currently, My BIM Center has 2 labs, one specifically designed for project coordination, while the other is more suited for training classes. And each of the lab can accommodate 20 students at any one time. And these labs are equipped with high-spec computers. All the major BIM software from providers like Tekla, Akibas, Archicad, Autodesk, Microsoft, and of course, Glodon. The center has also a multi-purpose room that can accommodate 70 packs for seminars, meetings, and any type of small event. The layout of all our facilities, fortunately, are already conformant to the physical distancing requirement, and they provide a safe environment for program attendees. To extend our reach beyond Klang Valley, we have partnered with 6 universities and 6 Malaysia construction academies all over the country. Each has the capacity to accommodate 20 students at a time with capable in-house trainers. And this network of satellite centers can definitely bring down the cost of training further for the students outside of Kuala Lumpur. And this is our commitment to provide adequate BIM operators and professionals for the consumption of the industry, as we are currently facing a shortage of BIM practitioners in the country. The demand for BIM classes is increasing from time to time. Surprisingly, right after the movement control order was relaxed, we have been getting a lot more interest by the construction industry community to join our training program. We are currently overbooked by 200%. So we hope by the middle of next year, we would be able to open another 2 BIM labs to cater more participants. We are quite passionate about Open BIM, and we do, however, need more support from the many technology and solutions providers out there. With the launching of the National Technology and Innovation Sandbox program, Malaysia is now moving towards becoming a technology provider rather than just a technology user. So local innovations are most welcome. Being a perfect gateway for the Malaysian construction industry, we would welcome everybody to collaborate with us and introduce their technology and services. We aspire to expand and offer our services beyond the border, and with a strong and capable resources and infrastructure, we hope someday we can become the center for construction technology for the region. And with that, I end my presentation on my BIM Center, and I thank you again for your time. Stay safe and take care.
Just imagine, each of your projects could be automatically taken off. Each of your quantity reports could be intelligently generated. Each quantity of your BQ could be traced back to your source. Check is so easy and clear that you could view them directly without any redundant calculation. We present you QBcost. With QBcost, you could obtain dimensions on drawings intelligently and generate BIM models accordingly. You could possess multiple standard methods of measurement around the world. Through the combination of built-in measurement rules and 3D models, you could calculate the quantities automatically. Instead of repeated manual quantity takeoff, you could obtain the quantities rapidly with just a few steps. In addition, QBcost provides present report formats that you use most frequently and fill data in them automatically. Thus, you no longer need to copy or compile the complicated Excel formulas. Meanwhile, you could customize the required report formats on your own. After you fill quantities in BQ, QBcost could help you interconnect BQ, quantities, and BIM models. You could easily find out where each quantity item in BQ is from and where it goes. This is QBcost Takeoff Solution, your intelligent, visual, and interconnected whole process takeoff solution.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Yuan Tang, Associate Professor in BIM from the University of Hong Kong. First of all, thank you, Gordon, for inviting me to give a keynote today for the 11th Digital Construction Summit. I would like to congratulate Gordon to host such a large summit for China and also the rest of the world. Today, I got a sharing with everyone. It's about how we cultivating digital talent for the next normal in the construction industry. I got a PowerPoint to share. It takes around 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, I hope everyone can see it clearly. Apart from my role being a professor in the University of Hong Kong, I'm also the program director for the only master in integrated project delivery around the region. At the same time, I'm also program director for Global BIM Manager Professional Training course in Hong Kong as well. That's currently one of the two accredited BIM Manager training in Hong Kong for the industry as well. I'll give you more details later. First of all, let me introduce a bit more about what we are doing in the University of Hong Kong. Myself, before I joined Hong Kong U, I actually worked in the University of Nottingham for 6 years. And beforehand, I spent the majority of my time back in the UK. I've been working in a few institutions like University of Reading, Loughborough. Also, I have been working on BIM for more than 12 years. At the time, I was quite lucky to start learning, implementing BIM and all other digital tools very early back in the UK, and met some pioneer as well in this sector. Currently, I'm leading the BIM research group in the University of Hong Kong. We call I5 Research Group. The first four is we focus on internationalization, impact, interdisciplinary, innovation, and also the final I is AI, artificial intelligence. Our group aims to develop a virtual real-world asset for better decision-making through life for different stakeholders along the life cycle. And also we commercialize some of our research as a startup called LPC for the University of Hong Kong as well. So about my talk, I hope you can take away a few keywords when I finish my talk, including digital innovation and how we use the technology boundary, BIM, and CDE, Common Data Environment, which is an ISO language now coming from 19650, which is an international BIM standard on how we manage data information for project and asset. And finally, how we train our future talent, digital talent for the next decade. I'll call it next normal, from 2020 until 2030. And at the end, as a digital talent, how we can navigate the digital environment, we call it digital twin. Ultimately, we can integrate the industry, fully digitize, and talk about real innovation within the digital twin. Before kick off, what is next normal? I mentioned about the what's next normal. As you know, the pandemic got a global effect for the whole world. We already experienced how we work on digital before, but now I think this is a must now because of the global situation. And that actually speed up, all the sector to move into digital world for the next decade. That's a very recent report just 2 months ago from McKinsey talking about where we are now in terms of digitalization for the whole sector. Sadly, we are still lagging behind other industry. Our annual productivity growth was only 1/3 for the total economy average in the past 20 years. And one point they mentioned very early in the report is we still lack of digital talent to drive the innovation compared to other sectors. So how does it look like for the next generation ecosystem if we are talking about how we shape, how we train our digital talent in the future? Our sector will be moving to be really a product-based approach. We never treat a building as a product in the past, but now we need to think about seriously. Okay, when we build is a product. We need a digital library. We need to talk about how we set the value chain, how we control it, how we make it lean, streamline the whole process. Then we can talk about data analytics on top of this. I would call it digital twin. And finally, how we put our investment in manpower, how we cultivate our talent, and also buy in all the technology and facility that not even exist now. We may face some technology that would appear in 10 years later. How we can handle that new shaping for the whole world. Back to the old school, what are our real challenge if we talk about digitalization? If we talk about a building as a product, there are so many parameters inside, including the location, the level, the space issue, what the system we're talking about, what asset we are referring to for the whole life cycle. We are talking about so many different types of data. And always, no matter is it an open standard, proprietary or non-proprietary format, this MECCSS standard makes us headache. And that problem to move into digital actually make it worse. And at the end, we are really stretching our head how we synchronize the real asset and the digital asset. We end up having lots of tagging issue while we come in operation, lots of uncertainty while we want to look for data. We don't know whether the data is trustworthy, whether it's been approved by someone else in the design stage or construction stage. Lots of problem actually comes out. So as a digital talent, how you can actually help with the industry to drive this process, make it streamline and make it better and optimize your productivity at the same time. On the right-hand side, there's a traditional IDEF 0 graph for aerospace. While I was in the UK, I actually worked on a very big project on information management, comparing construction, manufacturing, and aerospace industry. So it's simple. No matter what data we are talking about, for the data we want to make use of, it's always an activity. There's always an input, output, and a control mechanism if you want to make sure all the data you use is what you need for that task. And always there's a mechanism. So in the future, we need to train people can actually help you to formalize such a process. So a bit more background. Okay, I'm a professor. I like talking about theory. For the principle of information science, one thing we need to bear in mind, even it's digital, we're talking about talent, cultivation, all about digital world with all different sets of data, all this challenge with different stakeholders. We're talking about collaboration. Bear in mind, collaboration is an activity, not a technology. And always, in particular our sector, our professional knowledge is highly contextual. There's so many contexts within the project, within the database that need our human knowledge, need our final touch from throughout the whole life cycle. But for the whole life cycle, when a project started from beginning until the end, there's always knowledge loss, information loss, or data loss. So I would like to ask, what is the right ask at the beginning? Just like we're teaching, we always want student to ask the right question. We don't want the right answer. Everyone can think about or give you the right answer. But if you want to think beyond, if you want to drive the innovation through the digital world, you need to have the big ask. How much we can actually manage a data-driven workflow? because within construction, we are talking about lots of workflow happening from design, while you build it, while you maintain it, operating it. And there's so many different workflows for the life cycle. We need to drive this, lead the process, not letting the digital world, the data, to lead your practice. So I would like to introduce ISO 19650. I'm sure some of you has heard about, but not many. It is actually the international standard now, driving the whole information management process, in particular BIM. The first two versions actually released in 2019 already. And this international standard actually transit from the UK standard, the PAS or BS 1192, or sometimes we call BIM level 2. So for the first, test one is about concept and principle, how we can handle this digital environment as a talent. And for dash 2, 19650-2 is they talk about how we manage the data within the project life cycle. And this year, it's going to release dash 3, dash 5. Okay, dash 5 is already released some weeks ago, very recently. It's talking about information security. And dash 3 is about how we manage data while we talk about asset management. I would like to point out within this standard, the BIM, the word is already a light touch. Many key terms talk about model, information, coordination, and asset. Think about it. If we want our talent to handle all this digital data, we just don't want them to this will happen in design stage. We want the full life. We want the digital train, the digital data to be timeless. In 100 years time, 500 years time, you can always trace back what you create for this project. This is the beauty why we want to cultivate the next normal digital talent to drive our sector. So when you look at the BIM definition in the ISO standard in the clause 3.3.14, it defines BIM as the use of a shared digital representation of a built asset to facilitate design, construction, and operation process in order to form a reliable basis for decision. Look at it carefully. The last clause, it talks about reliable basis for decision. We are crying out loud, not having enough data to make us more effective. Think about how much time you can find your data within the BIM model or your computer. And then you try to call people, sending WeChat message, WhatsApp message, no matter what social tool you use. That's the quickest way you can get what you want. It's not from the data you create. Many occasions you create the data because the project needs, the client wants it. But many occasions the client doesn't know what they really want when they start to procure the BIM, start to implement BIM. So it's an evil cycle. At the end, it's very difficult for us to form a reliable basis for decision making. So within the ISO 19650, there's a keyword called CDE. Okay, another term I want you to take it with you: common data environment, or sometimes you may heard the single source of information. Okay, there's always one source of data you can refer to, and they're trustworthy, high quality, and high value. But this is not a new term. CDE, the term actually started very early, back in the level 2 standard, 1192 in the UK. The 2007 version already talked about CDE. They define CDE as a repository, or sometimes you may call it extranet, electronic database. It already exists. So in the CAD environment, the CAD world, we already want something single source. It needs to be centralized. We always want to refer one type of data, one set of data. So recently, the BIM level 2 defined this as a single source of information. And the CDE can be a project server, extranet, or a file-based retrieval system. And very recently, we talk about decentralizing our data. Now we are not talking about just one database, lots of database, but every database got a centralized system. So the SSOI, single source of information, okay, could be multiple. So in the ISO or the 1192 very recent version, it actually talk about the city is a central repository where all the construction project information is housed. It could not just be model, it could all the documentation, graphical model, and non-graphical model. And a recent document in 2018, commissioned by Scottish Future Trust, they define CDE as a platform for better decision making. That actually lines up with the BIM definition. We just want to make a better decision using high quality data, using single source of data from the CDE. It doesn't need to be perfect. We just want to make our work better, okay, instead of still calling people all the time. So that's the definition of CDE in the ISO in 3.315. The clause is an agreed source of information for any given project and asset for collecting, managing, disseminating each information container through a managed process. So as a digital talent, you got to manage, okay, the data-driven workflow using the CDE, not letting the data to lead your practice. So within this definition, okay, two things you need to bear in mind as a digital talent. One is the workflow that describes the process to be used, and also the solution, okay, that could be all form of technology available in the market. So solution and workflow as a digital talent, this is the next normal decade, something really on your priority list or your job profile. This is how we need to cultivate them and make them valuable for our sector. So back to 1999, okay, I want to take out a definition for CAT4 principle. I extract what they said. So this is how we define CAT, okay, many years ago. This is CD is to accelerate the production of drawings and documentation for supporting the exchange of design information among groups using the same CAD system and for providing visualization. We never change the way we want for digital data. We actually never change the way we train our people since we enter from hand drawings into CAD environment. But now with BIM, with all other digital tools, okay, it makes the whole scenario very complicated. It makes the solution choice very difficult. It makes the workflow very complicated, okay? So as a digital talent, this is a very steep ladder to climb now compared to the CAD environment. Now we talk about BIM, now we talk about CDE. So there's a CDE process within ISO, okay? I can spend 3 hours here, okay? But now today I don't have much time. But as you see, the middle part, the green part, okay, we are talking about the CDE, or sometimes we talk about digital twin. So within the digital twin, there are two big models we are talking about. One is PIM, Project Information Model. And once the project is handed over, is AIM, is Asset Information Model. We don't talk about BIM anymore. This is a CDE holding two big BIM models. One is PIM, and the other is AIM. So outside the circle, okay, this is the information management part, the green part. So outside the circle, this is, as a digital talent, you have the overall responsibility to manage the whole process, how you deliver the right data to the right people at the right time within the whole life cycle, if you follow the blue management process. So this is how you synchronize the real world and the digital world. If you're a capable BIM manager, or in the UK, they call information manager now. So how we train our talent, okay, I would like to share our experience in the last 10 years and how we prepare ourselves to train our digital talent for the next normal. This is our experience over the last 10 years. We have been doing lots of training in the UK, China in particular, Hong Kong now, where I'm based now. We have trained thousands of BIM talent or digital talent in the last few years. And we got some interesting finding through the training and how we fine-tune our training program as well. And through the training, we also did study, you know, within the training package, not just training the concept of CDE, other BIM tools, and we also train the use of standard, not just ISO, also Chinese standard. In Hong Kong, we also got local CIC standard, how as a digital talent, how we use standard to streamline the process, and also the people, how you build up your team, how you streamline the whole workflow, how you build up the team dynamic as well. So through this study, we also get some survey from the people we train, and these are those challenges, you know, how we actually train our digital talent in the future. The top one will be still the fragmented standard system. Why? So that's why I introduced ISO. So if you want to train, you know, your future workforce, invest in manpower, think about it. You got to standardize, you know, your process in-house, and also, you know, outside your company when you work with different stakeholders. We don't need millions of standards. There's no use. We don't need lots of standards. They all in bookshelf, becoming dictionary. It doesn't help us. At the end, you just pick up your phone and call people. We just need one standard. And also another case we did, we also did you know, 2 rounds of big training for one of the big asset company in China. Okay, you can see the name here. Okay, and the supply chain as well. So within this training, we also study how the ISO can actually drive, you know, a company, you know, with such a scale, and also help the digital transformation. Okay. With a standard like this, and also through the training, they all agree we're actually improving the whole industry digitalization development, using one type of standard, one platform, you know, talking about single source of truth, and then people will boost their productivity, you know, rather than spending their time to sort out the technical problem, data exchange issue, you know. You get employed to do the design, construction, not building up a bulky model that no one uses it in the life cycle, just for the sake of ticking the box for the tender requirement. You don't want that. So many occasions, people find it, you know, using BIM or other digital tools has no use, because you're not driving the workflow, you're not delivering value for your client. I also put the 2017 Yuan, the number 19 document, how we can actually export all our practice, you know, from China to the rest of the world. Okay, so in particular, when we are talking about such a large workforce for the whole Chinese market, okay, you got to upgrade yourself, you know, how you can manage the digital world, and at the end, you can actually export, you know, your talent to other countries and even the rest of the world. In Hong Kong, we also have a certified, you know, BIM manager course called CIC. We call Construction Industry Council accredited. So far, at the end of last year, the last 4 months, we trained over 160 people, and half of them are actually coming from the government. So in Hong Kong, beginning of last year, CIC launched a scheme called CCBM, Certified BIM Manager, and very recently they also launched a scheme called Certified CCBC, Certified BIM Coordinator. Okay, so you can see this as a talent, as a digital talent, you need to be recognized. Okay, that recognition is important because it's a way not just to promote yourself, but you know, you got to be recognized. What you produce, what you're good at has value. So it's quite successful now, and Hong Kong, and now we got like hundreds of CCBM now in Hong Kong to really drive the digitalization and innovation for the whole sector. And through this, the training, we also did the study, and then we also find there's a imbalance between supply and demand for digital talent. Quite echo to the McKinsey report. It's not a lot available in the market. Okay, it's not ready. So in University of Hong Kong, we also have a an important mission, you know, to train the future workforce. We're talking about future. We are talking about, you know, those just enter university, even high school now. These are our most important workforce if we're talking about the next decade, not the current one, okay, but we are talking about the future. Also the role and responsibility, okay. If we are talking about digital, somehow they're confused. So what is my role is, okay? What is my responsibility? Through my talk, you can see as a digital talent, you need to set the standard, design the standard for your practice, for your company, for your client. You need to set the CDE, single source of truth, and you need to define your information requirement. You need to define what data you need to deliver for different stakeholders at the right moment. This is your role and responsibility. But so far, it is not clear. But in Hong Kong now, our CCBM lay out this very clearly. So that's why they're clear about their job role now. They got recognized. So, and then I'm sure in a few years' time, you know, this innovation, digitalization can be boosted very quickly if they got recognized. And also another problem is very limited legal protection in the digital world. Somehow when you create the data, you still feel unsafe, okay? Even now all the cloud is quite safe, you know, you got backup and stuff. But somehow that, well, in particular my generation, we got hesitate, you know, if everything got to be digital. But for the future, for those now still studying in school, I'm sure they won't. They are living in a different world. They're born with all these digital gadgets, you know, in the hands. So that would change, But still, this is quite a very, you know, I mean, now, you know, moving digital, you know, that's the legal protection is not quite clear. So within our University of Hong Kong, as I said, I'm also the program director. And we call IPD, Integrated Project Delivery. We bring in international practice, local insight, and our cutting edge research to package what I just went through, you know, as a master to train our future workforce. So within this program, I talk about, you know, platform, technology, innovation, you know, AI, all this, you know, CDE, ISO, and also the legal, all this, okay. We package all this as a master to train our next normal digital talent. What we train them is to use an international and innovative approach to optimize the operation process of the digital asset. So this is the main aim, the main purpose, why you need to have such a future workforce in your future. Within the course, we want to reshape the digital world with 5 essential functions. The first one, as a digital talent, you need to help your client, your company, to procure the right data. So this graph is also from ISO 19650. Within your enterprise, you need the standard layer, you need to put up your technology, which I call CDE. The information layer, okay, we are talking about all the BIM data, asset data, graphical data, non-graphical data. And also on top of your business layer, you want the data to create value for you. In the future, those companies who win is the data. It depends on how much data you're having it in hands. It's not about the physical asset anymore. Second function, information assurance. Okay, as a digital talent, you need to reshape this for your company. So why I call CDE. Third, storage and cybersecurity. Okay, you got to take care, watch your back for the legal risk, all this protection. That will be your final, the third one, layer. So at the end, as an information manager, make use of international standard. You're actually supporting your 9001 standard, for example, the quality management, and also the 55,000, the asset management standard. You're actually making all this connected if you are putting up this strategy as a talent for your company. The fourth one, the function is the IDEF 0 I showed you earlier. No more garbage in, garbage out. As a digital talent, you need to create the user functionality and those customization as the control part. This is how I kept mentioning the third time now in this talk, delivering the right data to the right information and the right information to the right people at the right time. Final one, the output, it needs to be user friendly. It can be apps, API, okay, So that basically is the 5 function. But if you look at the whole input-output thing, I want to mention again, you're actually putting all this roadmap to drive the collaboration, the digital collaboration. And again, collaboration is an activity, not a technology. Okay. I actually got a full webinar for CIC Hong Kong. If you want it, you can click this link to see the full version. What will end up as a digital twin? Okay. If we talk about if we can fully synchronize, okay, the orange part is actually the digital world, and the blue part is actually the physical twin. Okay. If we can actually lead the workflow and make them synchronize, the big V, the vertical part, is actually we can talk about the innovation can jump in. You can talk about lots of testing, simulation well at the beginning, not until the end or just in the design stage, because you actually have the physical environment ready well at the beginning. By then, all other tools can jump in, GIS, IoT, AI, blockchain, all these can put it within your digital twin. So finally, you can actually create timeless, not just twin, could be digital estate. If you talk about it's an estate level, even at the city level, we talk about national digital twin as well. And as a digital talent, you actually link with this physical world with real-time data through the IoT. And people can visualize this, but within the twin environment, you're actually helping to do the quality control and assurance of all the shared 3D asset data that you procure for your client and your company. So to wrap up, so the future, how we actually cultivate our talent. Bear in mind, digital is timeless. From Albert Einstein, not everything that can be conned counts, and not everything that counts can be conned. We don't need everything physical to go digital. As a digital talent, you think about it. What workflow you're talking about? What solution you can purchase or you can create, develop to help this workflow to be digitized and synchronized with the physical workflow. This is very important. But now you got all the gears around you that makes your job easy. As long as you got recognized, I'm sure more and more good digital talent can be provided for our sectors. So hopefully beyond 2035, 45, we will really have a very mature and timeless digital world that help to boost our sector in the future. So that's some of the reference I use, and many of the work I actually came from our research as well. If you have an interest, you can go further study. So no question time for this. I would love to have more Q&A with all the audience, but I got my email here. If you want any discussion or collaboration, contact me, or you can contact Gordon as well. So that's the end. So thank you very much for everyone's time, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.
Welcome to TBQ, the digital cost management solution for you. TBQ has a professional system for compiling BQ. It has various types of professional built-in bills, elements, BQ, and prices for you to choose. You can reuse BQ data from BQ libraries, historical projects, and Excel and PDF files. TBQ has a professional and intelligent system for generating tender documents. It splits pages intelligently and generates pages with bill items for collection and collection summary and final summary. TBQ can generate complex types of tender documents such as preliminaries and provisional sum and prime cost. Contractors can submit electronic tenders directly. Intelligent, efficient, and accurate. It supports reusing pricing data from build-up, historical projects, and Excel files. It supports quick price buildup, analysis, and adjustment. Consultants can evaluate tenders electronically. TBQ is a professional platform for electronic tendering. Professional, efficient, and accurate. It has visible and shareable system for collaboration. It supports build-up collaboration between bills and elements. It offers seamless collaboration between quantities and prices. It supports collaboration between pricing and review. It is a digital cost management solution for enterprises. TBQ enables enterprises to accumulate, apply, and analyze data. This is QBcost TBQ, your digital cost management solution to make your cost management more efficient, intelligent, and professional.
Okay, thank you everybody. First of all, I want to thank you for Glodon to give us opportunity for this 11 Digital Building Annual Summit 2020. So we do hope we can contribute to this event. But before I start with some presentation, I would like to play a short video about Utama Karya so everybody can know about Utama Karya. So please enjoy the video. Okay, after enjoy the short video, we'll start with the presentation. So as you see, this is the cover of our presentation. It's some project that we have completed in Hutama Karya. So in our presentation, today's presentations, we'll talk about the construction in current updates, and then of course, digital construction in Indonesia. And the last topic, I would like also explain about what Hutama Karya do in digital transformation. So if we talk about the global spending in construction industry, construction-related spending account for 13% of global GDP. So if you take a look, there is 13% of the constructions in ecosystem is affected by construction industry. And every year, there is 3% annual growth in construction spending. Of course, perhaps in this 2020, there's a little bit decrease due to some COVID that happened around the world. This slide is talking about the room for construction productivity improvement. So this is also interesting. If we think about talking about productivity opportunity in construction, constructions have a long record for poor productivity. So past 20 years, construction productivity growth only 1% per year. This is smaller than the average productivity growth, which is 2.8% per year. And the other things that also become challenging for the construction industry, the earning before interest and tax only around 5%, despite presence of significant risk. So there is a lot of risk in construction industry. So the industry in construction have 13% of the world's GDP. This is also the lot of improvement we can make in this construction industry. So if we take a look in which area we can do some improvement. So according to McKinsey also, there is 7 areas can boost sector productivity by 50 until 60%. So there is reshape in regulation. Of course, if we talk about reshape regulation, this is something that related to the government. And then the second thing about reward contracts. So of course, the contract in construction industry normally only cover what benefit for the owner. And then the third thing is about rethink the design. The design aspect can be also have a lot of impact in the improvement sector. And the fourth, improvement procurement and supply chain. The fifth is about improve on-site execution. And the sixth about infuse technology and innovation. And the last, cost skill worker. So this area, if the construction industry can do it together, there is opportunity to increase the productivity 50 until 60%. And then also there is a possibility we can boost productivity 5 to 10 times. If possible, we do some industry, some part of the industry by moving a manufacturing style production system. So the next thing, what happened for this year? This slide is talking about impact in COVID-19 in construction industry. Of course, a lot of industry in the world have impacted by the COVID-19. Also, the construction industry have a problem with this COVID-19. This is data from the stock exchange. If we see this, the average engineering, construction, and building material company have experienced larger stock price decline than the reference index. We see, so the construction industry have significant impacted by the COVID-19. And the right side of this slide, we're talking about the estimated time to recover to pre-COVID sector before the COVID-19. Take a look in construction industry. So it needs maybe almost 2 years to recover to pre-COVID condition. So this, according to McKinsey Global 2020 analysis, at the end of 2022, maybe the condition will become normal. So what we should do to deal with this condition? So there is 5 horizons to do with this thing. Of course, we should resolve this thing address the immediate challenge that the COVID-19 represents to institution, workforce, customer, technology, and business partner, and do some resilience thing and return. So in return, we create detailed plan to return business to scale quickly as COVID-19 situation evolves and knock-on effect become clearer. So this is 5 horizon. And then the 4th thing, reimagination. Reimagine the next normal. What a discontinuities look like, and implication for how institutions should reinvent. And the last, of course, be clear about how regulatory and competitive environment in industry may shift. So this 5 horizon can transform into 7 action, can help leader for the next normal. So there is 1 until 7. So first, the first one, accelerate rollout and adoption of digitization. And the last thing, was get closer to the customer. So there is a second, third, as you can read this, but for today's, we will detail about accelerate rollout and adoption of digitization. So before we talk about digitization or BIM implementation in Indonesia, this slide maybe also represent what project have Hutama Karya completed. This is a Bali Mandara toll road, so connecting Benoa Island and Ngurah Rai International Airport. So if you want to enjoy Bali, you will pass this toll road. This is one of the projects completed by Hutama Karya. So this slide is talk about building information journey in Indonesia. So the first building information modeling implementation by state-owned enterprise in Indonesia is during 2015. And then in 2017, the government initiative on the building information modeling. And the next year, 2018, the first BIM regulation by Indonesian government is start to implement. And of course, some company do partnership with global BIM player, such as Glodon also. And then in 2019, BIM National Strategic Workshop is conducted by Ministry of National Development Planning. So in the below is the regulator, is a Ministry of Public Works and Housing of Republic Indonesia, as BIM stakeholder Indonesia. Also, there is a lot of general contractor, state-owned enterprise like Hutama Karya, Wijaya Karya, PP, and other private construction company. And there is also professional association and designer and consultant. So all they implement BIM in Indonesia. So in project side, Indonesia has implemented also digital construction in many sectors, and Hutama Karya is contributing also here. So if you take a look the legend, this is data taken from Ministry of Public Works and our internal source. If you see in Sumatra Island, there's a lot of projects conducted by Hutama Karya and other contractor, and also in Java, in part in Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and some in eastern part of Indonesia, like in Papua. So in terms of this project type, there is toll road project, certain project, dam, building, airport, port project, stadium, port, and among these things, Hutama Karya project is about 14 projects. But of course, this day, more and more project is implement building and information modeling in Indonesia. So this is also a slide about what we do in eastern part. There's a project in eastern part of Indonesia. This is the farthest shipping distance of steel framework bridge and the biggest erection of steel framework bridge in eastern part of Indonesia. This is a part of Hutama Karya project. The next step, I will explain about Hutama Karya, what we do, vision and mission. So our vision is become Indonesia most valuable infrastructure developer. And to achieve this vision, we have also some mission to ensure the successful execution of Trans-Sumatra toll road development, because we have mandate from the government of Indonesia to connect Sumatra Island with Trans-Sumatra toll road. And the second mission is accelerating the economic growth of Indonesia through various infrastructure-related business. And the third, of course, increasing capacities and capabilities through integrated human capital development, financial capital, as well as safety culture. So related with our business portfolio, so we are a state-owned enterprise, owned 100% by government of Indonesia. So our portfolio is divided in two sectors. The first part is about toll road in Trans Sumatra. Below the toll road, we have toll road development, we have toll road construction, and we have toll road operation. And the other part is about construction. We also have construction, civil and general construction, where we do toll road and bridges, and we have also EPC project in energy sector and industrial, and we have also building. We have three big subsidiary company, Utama Karya Infrastruktur, Utama Karya Aston, Utama Karya Realty, and some entity where we have share less than 50%. So our business line almost similar, but we do also have some investment in Trans Sumatra in steel, land acquisition and value capture, and region development. So maybe perhaps we want also do some investment. So we'll be glad to cooperate with you. So we also have property and realty. So in industry and APC, we do energy and water project. We do also power plant. And infrastructure, we do utilities, port, airport, and heavy equipment project also. So this is also a glance about what we done in Hakas construction project. We already completed Grati power plant 450 megawatt in Pasparan East Java. We will do also one of the biggest coal-fired power plant in Indonesia to time 1,000 megawatt in Suralaya. We already completed one of the highest skyscraper in Indonesia. We do also the second largest reservoir in Indonesia. We do also transportation project, the first tunnel MRT in Indonesia. We do also cable stay bridge, and this is also ongoing project. We do Muara Tower power plant 650 megawatt. This is just some sample of what project Utama Karya already completed and will do in the construction industry. Talking about the toll road, I explained a little bit about the future of Sumatra, because this is also one of the biggest tasks that Utama Karya will done. So we will complete the Sumatra Island with the economic corridor from Bakahuni until Banda Aceh. So Utama Karya has been assigned by Indonesian government to build mega project Trans Sumatra Toll Road with the length more than 2,700 kilometers. Total investment more than 33 billion. So of course, doing such a big mega project, we need some technology. So this is something that we want to also share with you. So what kind of technology we are completing, and we do completing this kind of task. So the project in Sumatra Infra Project, of course, there's connectivity, Trans Sumatra, and there is also utility we do, and there's other like smelter. So this is the future of Sumatra. And how Utama Karya construct mega project Trans Sumatra Toll Road. This is a slide is part of mega project Trans Sumatra Toll Road. This is Terbangi Besar and Pematang Panggang Payung Agung is connecting Lampung Tengah. This is the longest toll road project in Indonesia in Sumatra. So this is part of the Trans Sumatra that has already completed. So using digital construction in mega project Trans Sumatra Toll Road. So we divided our process into three parts. So there is a first pre-construction, and then the second, the construction itself, and post-construction. So this is the phase that we do for this project. So in pre-construction process, we do some digital survey, we select the alignment, we do the modeling, and we check elevation and slope analysis. And then after all the analysis is completed, then we start the construction. Of course, we do some traffic simulation analysis also, and fatigue test and driving simulation to make sure that all the toll road and everything will be designed perfectly. And then in construction process, there's a material takeoff. We check also the class analysis, make sure that the existing condition is according what we are thinking. So there is no surprise in the site. For some time, if you don't check carefully, there is also possibility that the design is not matched with the real condition. And then after we complete the construction, in post-construction, we do some operation control room, we do some maintenance, and we have also mobile access for operation and maintenance our toll road project. So this slide will talk about the pre-construction process. So in digital survey, we do have a drone. So we use drone to do the aerial survey So capturing the surface area with LIDAR, with area survey around 10 kilometer. So normally, without building information modeling survey system, we do it the survey 10 days. But with the drone, we can do it only in 1 day. So there is a lot of efficiency improvement, almost 90%. So this is the digital survey that we do for the toll road in Sumatra. And then the next step, we select the alignment. So we determine the factor based on distance and cost efficient. So area analysis around 0.5 kilometer. So normally also we do with BIM only 1 day. Without BIM, take more. Efficiency improvement is more than 60%, 66.6% for selection alignment. And then in the next step, we do modeling, 3D modeling system. We compare BIM model with reality model. So this is also a lot of improvement we can do it. We thought this is new 3D modeling. It takes 3 days, but with BIM, take only 1 day. So efficiency improvement is also more than 60%. This is during the pre-construction process. And the next step in pre-construction, of course, we do some elevation and slope analysis. We do analysis rain catchment area. So in the rainy season, we make sure that this toll road is not blocking the water area. So we analyze rain volume and make sure that all will be done according our analysis. So this is also same. There is a lot of improvement that we can do, more than 60%. So after we completed the elevation and slope analysis, we do also simulation in traffic. So traffic simulation analysis. We analyze daily traffic volume, analyze traffic density. And the last step also we do fatigue test and driving simulation. So making sure that the driver that using this toll road has the good condition, that enjoy the toll road that we make. So this is the pre-construction. So during the construction process, and just before we start the construction, we do class analysis. So we superimpose a BIM model with the real environment. So what we take from the digital survey, so we plot with the 3D model, and we make sure all the design is according with the site condition. So we make sure that, let's say, what we have a pier will not put in the middle of the river, something like that. So this is the class analysis, that a lot of improvement we got from this class analysis. And also in construction process, we do material takeoff. So there is material report that we can generate in the construction process. And also the last process, we create also shop drawing. So there's a lot of improvement we can do in shop drawing process also. Efficiency improvement around 75%. So after we complete all the toll road, when we do operation maintenance in post-construction process, there is also a process we do with operation control room. So we have control room where we are measuring the real-time dashboard monitoring. So we know the traffic and we can see what happened in the toll road in real time. So we do also maintenance process, access management for maintenance, and for mobile access, of course, can be accessed using CCTV for traffic monitoring. So this is the post-construction that we implement in our toll road project. So this is the lesson learned and key point. So BIM implementation is about change management. So after we do this process, BIM implementation is not only about buying, let's say, the software or the hardware, but it's really about changing the management and the culture. And then the full support from all stakeholders is required for a successful implementation of this BIM. And the third thing as lesson learned is we must develop the roadmap to choose your platform and apply gradually, because when we implement building information modeling, so there is a lot of platform there. So you choose your platform and apply gradually. And of course, we thank also Glodon provide helpful guidance and support for successful BIM implementation. So this is the lesson learned that we have The key point was clearly minimize cost overrun by optimize and accurate design, and speed up the design process 3 times faster than usual method, so avoiding lost time due to class, and integrated single source of data toward construction phases. So this is lesson learned and key point that we got from implementing building information modeling. So this is sharing for us. So we do hope that our share can benefit for all of you. And if we glad also, if you have other question, you can send to us and we're glad to answer. You can also email us at the email below. That's all. Thank you.
That's all for today's sharing, and that's a very powerful discussion of today's global construction industry and Asia market, especially in this particular time. For the professors and audience today, you've been very generous with your time. We very much appreciate it. So I hope everyone in front of the screen love it, enjoy it, and found it useful. Thanks again very much. Hope you keep safe. We're now in the wave of digitalization. I hope you stay with us, stay with Glodon, be part of the game.
No matter how we start our day, it seems that we are rushing around doing the same old things and suffer from work inefficiency. Sometimes we feel helpless in managing our tasks overall. Want to change this? We bring you CubaCost, a beam-based cost management solution. Tasks with built-in calculations rules of various countries, with intelligent quantities classification and deductions, which are highly customizable. Identifying building elements from BIM, CAD, and PDF drawings. Recognizing 2D drawings and 3D finish models to generate quantity of finishes with the help of flexible layout setting. Auto report generation with high flexibility of report styles, allowing various customization for project and company needs. Enabling effective collaboration works with multiple team members on multiple models such as building components, finishes steel structure, and etc. TRB, built-in standards of ACI, BS, IS, and Eurocode, providing faster and more accurate measurements with automation of the software. TRB recognizes CAD and PDF drawings for better calculation adjustments, including rebar length, laying area, spacing, and much more. Aided with 3D technology, TRB enables users to tackle changes quickly and update project quantities accordingly. Rebar measurement is enhanced with greater visualization in 3D graphic as well as rebar layout arrangements. Utilizing quantities, report, and 3D technology to quickly identify potential errors in measurements. TBQ supports identifying PDF and Excel. Build-up rate is composed by different methods, allowing detailed adjustments on each cost factor. As a subcontractor and supplier management platform, TBQ provides better intelligent analysis in terms of importing quotations and auto-generating tender evaluation reports. compiling various quotations from project to project, creating a price database for all other future projects. It integrates project model quantities with cost information to materialize 5D BIM application, is embedded with tender BQ template as well as allowing flexible editing, and speedily generates tender documents. To achieve greater success with better work efficiency and management convenience. Cubicost, providing you with a BIM-based cost management solution.